Hi everyone, welcome to Session 2 of Bob Bly's Ultimate Guide to eBook Writing Success, a comprehensive program to writing and selling eBooks for profit. Hi Bob.
Hi Katie, how are you?
Great. Well, let's get started. What have you got for us today?
Well, in our first session, we looked at what an ebook is and how to write a good ebook. But the bigger problem or challenge is how, once you have your ebook, how do you sell it? How do you get people to buy it and make money from it? And that's what we're going to talk about today, how to sell your ebook once it's written and produced on the internet. What's interesting is that having a business where you sell ebooks is passive income. And let's compare that with something our listeners, or many of our listeners, are familiar with. Let's say copywriting or any professional service. When you render a professional service, it's active income. Dentists have a saying, unless you're drilling and filling, you're not billing. You got to work to make your money. That's true in almost every service business. So you can dive into it right away, but you're always going to have to work at a high level, as you can see on the top graph, to make money. Passive income, such as creating products, information products, of which ebooks are one, and then selling them, is front-loaded. There's more work up front, and I'm going to show you exactly what that work is. Specifically, there's 5 things you have to create to sell your ebook. But once it's all set up, as you can see the curve going down, the work you have to do from then on is very little for a very large cash reward. I'm at the point now where, and I'm certainly not by any stretch near the top of the ladder in information marketing, but I make several $100,000s a year working only a few hours a week. But when I started and had to set everything up, there was much more work. So let's see what that work involves. My goal for the listener, you guys listening, and this is just mine, you can adjust yours upward or downward, is to get you to the point, which I think we can do in 12 to 18 months, maybe 12 to 24 months, to get you to the point where you're making $200,000 a year selling your ebooks, and if you choose, other information products online. And once you're set up, it's going to take a lot of work up front, as we saw in our graph, but once everything's set up and put in place, I want you to be able to make that amount of money, incredible as it sounds, working 1 or 2 hours a day. And what this does, most of us trade time for money. We work and get paid. Having a product that you sell, passive income, eliminates your dependence on trading time for money. When I come in the morning and turn on my computer, there are orders for my ebooks that I got while I was sleeping. So you can make money literally while you sleep. There are 4 skills you need to succeed in internet information marketing, of which, as I said, ebooks are a subcategory. Number 1, you have to be able to create the content. You have to be able to write the ebooks. And in our last session, we saw that you can do that yourself, which for most of you, I think that's what you're going to start out doing. Or you can even hire someone to do it, or you can literally find information that's not copyrighted and repackage it, public domain information, into an ebook. So number 1, you have to be able to create content. And if you're an AWAI member, you're a writer, you already possess that skill, or you can learn it easily. Number 2 is copywriting. There is quite a bit of copywriting in ebook marketing. I'll show you what that is in a few minutes. And again, as an AWAI member, as a copywriter, you have the edge because you already know how to do that. Number 3 is marketing. You have to figure out a plan or technique or strategy is a better word, if you will, for marketing your ebook. And if you were an AWAI member, you're already marketing oriented. You may have even heard the strategy I'm going to teach you, and if not, it's easy enough for you to learn. The 4th area of skill you need for ebook marketing success is the technical skills. You're putting together a website with HTML, hypertext markup language. turning your ebook into a locked PDF file. But fortunately, you don't have to know any of those, and in fact, you should not do them. Doing them is a waste of time, and your time is better spent on items 1 through 3. Item 4, the technical, should be outsourced, and thanks to overseas outsourcing, for example, my webmaster is in the Philippines, you can get it done very affordably and have no need to learn those skills. And I don't. I can't put up a website. I can't make a PDF file. I just don't know how. By the way, if you're interested in doing your own PDF files, in the bonus book we gave you, How to Write eBooks for Fun and Profit, we explain how to do it in there. The formula for success in ebook marketing is simple. P equals S minus E, which means your profit equals your sales, subtract expenses. So a lot of people always think of, I'm making more money by increasing sales. And you're indeed going to do that, and we'll show you how. But you also make more money by reducing your expenses. And internet marketing and ebook marketing are businesses where controlling expenses and not overspending is very important. So how would you lower your cost? Well, you see the list here. You can find low-cost hosting, and that's available on the internet. You can find low-cost web design, and you can find that on websites like Elance that we mentioned in our last session, elance.com. You can hire website designers there. Same with guru.com. You can create your own products, so you don't have to outsource them. And you can write your own copy, and there's a copy of my book, The Copywriter's Handbook, but if you're an AWAI student, you've already been educated in how to write your own copy, and that is the biggest cost savings, because for people who are not writers, who are not copywriters, getting the copy written is their biggest outside expense. It can be very expensive. It can cost thousands of dollars, as you know if you've done it and charged other people for it. So by doing that yourself, you're going to save a tremendous amount of money, and your profits from the start will be higher. Okay, there are 5 things you need to create to make $200,000 a year online in net passive income. Number 1, you need and should have an e-newsletter, an e-zine. Number 2, you need an e-list, a list of customers and prospects to whom you can send email marketing messages. Number 3, you need products to sell. Number 4, you have to create email messages, email marketing messages that notify people that those products are available and to offer them. Number 5, you need landing pages, which is also known as landing pages are also known as microsites, and they are small, as we discussed in our last session. They're small, standalone mini websites that feature just one product and that sell just one product. If you want more on landing pages, by the way, I've got a free site for you. Go to thelandingpageguru.com, and you'll be asked when you try to access the information. It doesn't ask you when you land on the site, but when you try to access it, it'll say, well, what's your username? And your username will be user. And it'll ask you what's your passcode, and your passcode is PageGuru. And when you do that, you can read all about landing pages, see samples of landing pages, and find detailed articles on how landing pages work, because that's something you're going to have to create. And again, if you're a copywriter, you'll find that rather easy. So number 1 is the e-newsletter. This is a copy of my e-newsletter, and we publish this newsletter monthly, once at the beginning of the month. However, we send supplementary issues several times a week to our list. And while this newsletter is in a newsletter type format, you can see the story in the middle. It says typefaces for web pages. It has a bunch of short articles. The weekly messages are more like advice to people. They're just one subject in each one. This is just the way I do it. You don't have to do it the same way. If you are an AWAI student, awaionline.com, you get free email messages and newsletters from them. And theirs are very similar to mine in that they offer, each one offers a piece of advice or some how-to or useful content. So I do this monthly. It's free. You do not charge for your newsletter. You make money by selling the subscribers to your newsletter products. You do not charge them for the newsletter. And I have 65,000 subscribers to this particular newsletter. I recommend you have two choices. You can do a text newsletter, which you see here, or you can do an HTML newsletter, which we all know has color in it, has more graphic design, can have pictures, illustrations, images. But text is better for two reasons. One, it's easier for you to do. You can just type it, hit a button, and send it. There's no design in it. You don't have to send it outside to a contractor to do the HTML design for you. And the other reason it's better for us is that your audience for ebooks are information seekers. And when you're marketing to information seekers, they will read a text email. If you were marketing Coca-Cola to consumers, maybe you would use an HTML email, because there's a branding that goes on. But for information products, text is very appropriate. You'll notice that in the sample newsletter here that I always, if I take information from another source, you see at the top, words from Woody, I attribute the source. To do otherwise would be stealing. Now, I'm not stealing because I'm not quoting him exactly. I'm paraphrasing, so it's legal to do, but it'd be wrong not to attribute the source. And at the bottom, I have an item about a speaking engagement I was doing. So I had contact information that would allow the reader to sign up for it or find out more about what's covered in the speaking engagement. So again, contact information whenever there's more data that the reader would want. My formula for writing a text e-zine is as follows. I usually have 5 to 7 articles, 1 to 3 paragraphs of each. That means you can read each article in less than a minute, and you can read the entire issue in 5 to 7 minutes, assuming you read every article, and not everyone does. And I don't have links to stories. I have links to sources of information, but I'm not like some newsletters that have a paragraph and then say click here to read the full article. The full article, which is very brief, is on the newsletter that you see. How do you design a text e-newsletter? Well, you set the left margin at 20 and the right margin at 80 to create a 60-character column width. So they're kind of narrow. Makes it easier to read. When you're typing it, you type it as a text file and put a hard carriage return after every line. Otherwise, the lines will run off in odd separations and breaks. I use a dashed line, as you can see, that separate the items or articles. I used to do the titles in all caps, but now I do them centered and with asterisks. This is an older issue because all caps trigger spam filters. So again, what I do for a title now is I put 3 asterisks, I type the title and then put 3 more asterisks to make it stand out. And again, you save it, you can write it in Word, but you save it as a text file. Here's the format that I use. And again, you don't have to use the same format I do. On the other hand, I always say, why reinvent the wheel? If someone else has something that's working, you certainly should think about copying it. And I certainly wouldn't bother me if you use the exact same format. I've copied from other people. You can copy from me. On the other hand, if you want something more original, you can do that also. So the from line is from a familiar source. It's from me, so my subscribers know who I am. So they will read it from Bob Bly. The subject line arouses curiosity or generates interest in finding out what's in the issue. Subject, 3 New Year's resolutions worth keeping. The subject line should be about 40, 45 characters or smaller, because if it's longer, people's email readers in their inboxes cut off the wording. The name of the publication appears underneath, Bob Bly's direct response letter. That's the one thing I'd rather you not take. You can use your own title. Underneath is an identifying masthead or tagline: resources, ideas, and tips for improving response to business, high-tech, industrial, internet, and direct marketing. And you notice there's a benefit in there, improving response. I put the issue date there, and then there's opt-out copy, which is that middle section the arrow points to, where we say you are getting this email because you subscribe to it on bly.com, or because you are one of Bob's clients, prospects, seminar attendees, or book buyers. So we're reminding them up front why they're getting it, because it's interesting. Some people will subscribe to your material, get it, and then email you and saying, why are you spamming me? They literally don't remember signing up for it. And unless you think that's odd, it's not, because people get so much stuff on the internet that it's easy. They sign up very casually without thinking about it. They forget about it, and then 2 weeks later when they get your first issue, they say, hey, I don't know what this is. So you want to remind them, you signed up for it. If you would prefer not to receive further emails of this type, go to bly.com, enter your email address, and hit unsubscribe. So we tell them how to get off the list. The e-zine close. At the end of each issue, I have a soft sell sales pitch for my copywriting business. Some of you won't have this. You might have pitches for your other products or your more advanced products. For example, if you sell ebooks, but you've got a boot camp that you're sponsoring, or you've got a $1,000 master audio or DVD course that you're selling, this would be a good place to put it. If you're a copywriter and you want to sell your services, this is where I put it. And then at the end, I have all my contact information: email, web, physical address, phone number, fax number. Always make it easy for the recipient to get in contact with you in the manner in which they would like to do it. How frequently can you email your list? Well, if you just looked at an e-zine or an e-newsletter, and the number of sales emails you can send your list depends on how frequently you publish your e-zine. So if you publish your e-zine only quarterly, you can send one to two additional emails to your list per month. And by the way, of these additional emails, 50% of them should be pure content, more information, and 50% of them can be sales. If you publish your e-newsletter monthly, then you can send 1 to 2 extra email messages a week. Again, half of them content, half of them sales. If you publish your email newsletter twice monthly, you can send 2 or 3 extra email messages a week. If you publish it weekly, 2 to 4 a week. And if you're like Daily to Rise, you publish your email newsletter daily, you can send 1 or 2 additional messages per day. Now, anytime you send an email message to your list, some people are going to do what we call opt-out, which is unsubscribe from the list. Why did they do this? Either they think they're getting emailed too frequently, or they get it and say, you know what, I'm not really reading this, or I'm sick of it, I'm not interested anymore, or they're just trying to cut down on the number of e-newsletters they get, and they leave. Your opt-out rate should be no more than 0.1% of your list per email you send. So if you send an email and you have 10,000 names on your list, you shouldn't get more than 10 opt-outs. If it's higher, it's too many. Another factor we look at is what we call the evaporation rate. You are going to get new names added to your list, even if you don't do any marketing. People are just going to, through search engine optimization, through Google, various ways, through recommendations from referrals, from people publishing your articles and having links to your website, you're going to get signups from places you don't know, even if you're not proactively marketing to get new signups. And you have an evaporation rate, which is the number of new names you get versus the number of opt-outs you get. So if you get more new names than you get opt-outs when you send out an email, you're okay. On the other hand, if that number is negative, opt-outs exceed the number of new names, you're going to get list shrinkage, and your list will go away. Most people find their lists do shrink, and there's been an often cited figure in the industry that turnover rates in email lists can be as high as 30%, which means you constantly must do marketing to replace the names you're losing through opt-out and attrition. Okay, we looked at the e-newsletter. Now, how do you build the e-list, your list of subscribers, the e-list of people you're going to send offers to for your ebooks? This is what's called the Agora model because it was pioneered by Agora Publishing. And the way it works is you put up, you see in the middle, it says free e-zine, a navy blue box. You put up a dedicated web page. Some people call it a squeeze page that has no other purpose than to capture email addresses and names of people, and in exchange for them giving that, you give them a free subscription to your e-newsletter. So you create that page, and you see it in the middle there in navy blue. Then, using all the techniques in the yellow ovals on this slide, you drive traffic not to your main website, but to that page. And you can see some of the methods, and there are others. This isn't complete, but you can do social networking in the upper right, viral marketing, search engine optimization, pay-per-click advertising, Google AdWords, banner ads, and something called text links, which are sort of like banners, but there's no design, they're just text. Pop-ups, pop-up windows, email marketing. There's a variety of to rented or other lists. Joint venture promotions, or what we call list swaps, where you promote someone else's list newsletter to your list, and they promote your newsletter to their list. And that's very successful. I mean, it can be very successful and a very inexpensive way to add new names. And you use all these methods to drive traffic to your free e-zine page. Then, if you follow the red and blue arrow, that becomes your house e-list, which is in the bottom navy blue box. These are the names people have given you their email address and their names and permission to email them. And so you do. You see there's two ways in the light blue the light blue ovals at the bottom left and bottom right. At the bottom left, you can put an ad in your e-newsletter for one of your products, and you can get orders that way. The more powerful technique is to send a solo promotional email promoting one of your products to your own list. And that's how I get most of, not all, but a lot of, I won't say most, I'll say a lot of my sales are generated that way. And when those work, you follow the yellow arrow to the bottom, you get orders. And that's the Agora model. You use all these traffic building methods not to drive traffic to your main website, but to drive traffic to a specific page where the only thing they can do is sign up or not sign up for your free e-newsletter. And here's my page. We call it a free-on-free squeeze page. Why? Because not only do we offer the free newsletter, but I offer a bonus. I say, in essence, sign up for my e-newsletter, sign up for a free, no-commitment subscription to my monthly e-newsletter on direct marketing, the direct response letter, and get 4 free bonus reports. Why do I do this? Because there's so many newsletters today, and people are bombarded by so many of them that just offering an e-newsletter enough is not sufficient inducement to get them to sign up. Early, years ago, when people first started doing e-newsletters, it was an amazing gift. Oh, you mean I can sign up and get a free newsletter? That's great. But now people are the opposite. They're trying to cut down on the number of e-newsletters. So we offer a bonus, and here I offer free special reports. You can see at the bottom, number one is called How to Double Your Response Rates at Half the Cost. And the reason that you offer the free reports is as follows. The person comes to the page. They say, oh no, not another newsletter. But wait, this report sounds interesting. The only way I can get it is to sign up for this newsletter. So here's what I'll do. I'll sign up for the newsletter just to get the reports, and then I can unsubscribe, I can cancel. But what happens is they sign up for the newsletter to get the reports, and if the reports are good and the newsletter is good, they don't cancel. They stay on as subscribers. So this is the most effective method I know for getting new newsletter subscribers, a free-on-free squeeze page. Point number three, the third thing you need, in addition to an e-newsletter and an e-list, is products to sell. We're talking about e-books, but you can sell many more categories of information products than just e-books. You can sell traditional books if you wish, e-books, teleseminars, teleclasses, webinars like this one, e-classes, membership sites, product licensing, audio CDs or downloadable MP3s, videos, seminars, live events, boot camps, coaching services, consulting, even copywriting. So there's lots of products and services you can sell online. But today we're talking about e-books in particular. The title is key. We looked at in our last session, our first session, a bunch of different titles, and I analyzed them and told you why I thought they were strong. Here's the one of the bonus that you should have, which is writing ebooks for fun and profit. And this has been one of our best sellers. We have sold over $100,000 worth of this one ebook. So the title obviously must be working. When you are creating your product, your information product, your ebook, there are 3 levels of informational writing. And we looked at these in the first session, but I want to go over them again. The lowest level is what to do, telling someone, for example, oh, if you have a dry cleaning store, you should take out a billboard. Well, that's what to do. And you can find what to do information mainly in magazine articles. The next step is telling them how to do it. How do I set up a billboard advertising campaign? Do I need an ad agency? What are the dimensions? What are the costs? What should I put on my billboard? How many words? What images? And you can find those in books, e-books especially, and online courses. And then there's do it for them, where you might have templates of actual billboard designs for dry cleaners, where they can simply blow it up. I mean, they couldn't use it out of the e-book, but they can just copy it onto a larger size, and their billboard is essentially done for them. And you can do that in e-books, online tools, templates, folios, things of that nature, and that is the highest level. Most of what we do falls into the middle level, how to do it. But if you can do 80 to 90% how to do it and have 10 to 20% of your content doing it for them, you'll create a product that's more valuable and you can charge a higher price for. This is, for my ebook, something people do ask me. They say, how do you prevent ebook piracy? Not privacy. How do you prevent ebook piracy? And my first answer is to tell people, don't worry about it. That's the wrong issue to concentrate on. What you should be worried about right now is, how am I going to generate sales of this ebook? I have this book, I have this list, nobody's buying the book. How do I sell it? And that's what we're going to show you in a minute, and we're showing you now. But people worry unduly, in my opinion, about pirating. So I do want to address that. One way to avoid pirating is to simply put a copyright on the book. So you see here the second paragraph from the top. Writing ebooks for fun and profit is copyrighted by the Center for Technical Communication. That's my company name. No portion of this manual may be reprinted or reproduced in any way without the author's express written permission, except by the authorized purchaser of the ebook. And copyright 2008 by the Center of Technical Communication, all rights reserved. That's one method of discouraging pirating. Another one is to actually register the copyright for your product. It's not expensive. I forget what it is today. It might be 40 or 50 bucks. With the Copyright Office, the U.S. Copyright Office in Washington, D.C. And if you Google U.S. Copyright Office, you'll find them instantly. The next one is a warning we have that's at the bottom, which says, this is not a free ebook. Purchase of this ebook entitles the buyer to keep one copy on his computer and print out only one copy, print one copy only. Printing out more than one copy or distributing it electronically is prohibited by international and USA copyright laws and treaties, and would subject the purchaser to penalties of up to $100,000 per copy distributed. So we put a rather harsh warning to discourage the internet pirates. The other thing you can do, which is a neat little technique I learned from my colleague in internet marketing, Fred Gleek, is put a page in your ebook that offers a special bonus, probably a report, some special bonus content only for people who own the ebook. So it says you can, if you go to this site or whatever, however it's delivered, you can get this free bonus report. But when they try to get it, if they don't own the ebook, they're not registered, they cannot access it. And you tell them that, you know, if you have a pirated copy, you can't get it. But if you purchase today the authorized copy, then you also get the bonus report. And some people will buy it to be honest and to get the bonus report. How do you price information products? Well, here's a range of them, and it includes ebooks, of course. A 50 to 100-page ebook, anywhere from $19 to $49, $59. If it's a done-for-you book, maybe $59 to $79. Audio CD albums, $29 to $49 per CD. Audio MP3 downloads, 25 to 50% less than the physical CDs. DVDs, $39 to $79 each. Streaming video they can watch, 20 to 50% less than the physical DVDs. Membership sites, $29 to $79 a month. Teleseminars and webinars can range from free to $79 or more. Paperback books on a specialized topic, $20 to $29. Can't get away with much more than that because people equate the price of a paperback book with what they see in a bookstore. The same book content in a 3-ring binder has a much higher perceived value, and if you toss in some CDs or DVDs, $49 to $129 is not impossible, and you see that below, $129, even more. What you want to do is when you're coming up with an idea for an ebook to sell, you want to see if people are searching on the internet for the keyword related to your topic. So you can go to wordtracker.com. Spacky recently went out of business, and inventory.overture has closed. But go to wordtracker.com or go to the Google keyword tool. If you actually search Google for the term Google Keyword Research Tool, you'll find their tool. The URL is very long and I can't remember it. And it'll show you how many people are searching each term. And if you get a lot of searches on a term, that's a positive indication that you can sell your ebook because people are looking for information on that product. If you have very few searches, that's a sign that it's probably not going to sell online. And you might say, well, people are interested in it, but they're not, and the answer is, but they're not interested in it or looking for it online. So it doesn't matter if they're looking in a bookstore. If they're not looking online for insomnia, as this ebook was about, then you're probably not going to be successful with it. So you have to see what keywords related to your ebook title that you want to do are they searching online. Here was my first ebook. It's a little bit of a case study. I wrote an ebook called, that I had mentioned in our first session, Write and Grow Rich. How to make 6 figures a year working at home as a freelance writer and have the time of your life doing it, which wasn't really an original ebook written by me. It was a collection of articles I had done for writers magazines. And I note at the bottom, they'd actually paid me $7,500 to write these 10 or 12 articles, but I had maintained all the rights. So they only had the first rights, which means after they published the articles, the rights reverted to me. And if you ever write for a magazine or newsletter, type in the upper left or upper right portion of the first page of your manuscript, first rights only. That way, once it's published, you retain the rights to it. Otherwise, if they own all the rights to it, you'll never be able to use that content in an ebook or anywhere else. So the length was 133 pages. It was a downloadable PDF file. It was reprints of my Writer's Digest columns. The cover price is $39. The cost to produce it is $0 because it's an electronic book. There is no printing. There is no inventory. There is no storage, warehousing. There is no fulfillment. The profit margin, therefore, is nearly 100%, and therefore the profit per sale is about $39. To date, we have sold 1,281 copies of this book for a gross revenue of $40,439. That means I had a bunch of articles that I had written sitting in a file drawer, and by turning them into an ebook, I made another $40,000 on them. My only product development cost was hiring a graphic designer to put it into a PDF format, which cost me $175. Therefore, my ROI in that $175 investment was over 23,000%, 23,000%, which is much better than I made over those few years in my stock portfolio. Sources of content. Where do you get the content for ebooks or your other information products? Well, going from left top counterclockwise, you can write it. You can hire writers to do it. I'm a writer, but I hire other writers to write my ebooks because my time is best spent on marketing, not on the writing. Some of my ebooks I do write, but a lot of them I hire writers, especially if it's on a topic that I think we should be doing, but I don't know too much about. Then I hire someone. Government publications. Most government publications, as we said in the first session, are not copyrighted. If you're an author and you have books that you've written, your out-of-print books, the rights will revert to you. By the way, Boardroom, famous publisher, mega successful, giant direct marketer, some of their books, most people don't realize this, are just reprints of old books from other publishers that have gone out of print because the publisher didn't know how to sell it. Your published articles that you said first rights only can be collected in an ebook. Remainders, you can go to remainder houses and find books that are out of print and buy the rights from the author. You can go to conferences and lectures and take notes and make an information product out of that. I went to a bunch of lectures on different careers and wrote a book called Dream Jobs, A Guide to Tomorrow's Top Careers, where I profiled 10 career opportunities. Radio and TV interviews. I always tell the interviewer, if I go on your radio or TV show, you give me a master of the tape and I own the rights to it and I can do with it as I want. So you can make audio CDs or DVDs out of that, and then you can take recordings of teleseminars and webinars and make DVDs or audio CDs out of it. So there's a lot of sources of content available for your product. Let me show you the difference between traditional book publishing and ebook publishing. On the top, I had a 200-page book I had written that sold for $10 in print. I would get an 8% royalty, which means 80 cents per copy. My literary agent would take his 15% fee, his commission, out of that. So for each copy of this 200-page book sold, I made 72 cents. Once the book went out of print, I scanned it using an optical character recognition scanner, and these things are dirt cheap today. Practically every printer you buy has this built into it. And I took this 200-page book and turned it into 3 50 to 60-page ebooks and charged $29 per ebook. So every time I sold this same content, I got 3 times 29 equals $87 instead of 72 cents. And you can begin to see why ebook writing and publishing is often so much more profitable than traditional book publishing. The most important decision you can make in your ebook publishing is what niche topic am I going to write on? Because, and this may be a bad thing or a good thing, depending on your view, but you're going to have to do all of your ebooks in the same niche topic. In other words, you're going to build a list, and if your newsletter is on raising goldfish or raising tropical fish, let's say, your newsletter's on raising tropical fish, all your information products have to be related to keeping aquariums, or fish tanks, rather. But if you have a list on raising tropical fish and you offer them an ebook on how to tune your automobile engine, they're not going to buy it because that's not why they come to you. They come to you as the expert on fish keeping. So you have to choose a niche and stick with it, and that's the biggest decision you'll make, because once you choose a niche and start building a list in it, it's very difficult to change that niche. So here are the questions that I think you should ask when determining what your niche is. Take a self-assessment and say, what do I like? What am I interested in? What am I good at? What do I have an aptitude for? What is my education? What do I know? What is my experience? What have I accomplished? Which of the above areas has the least competition? And which of the above areas pays the highest rate? And that'll help you determine what your niche should be. People often note that your niche is your passion or what you really like, what you're interested in, as it intersects with the interests of the public. So if your interest is Peruvian poetry, it's probably not a good topic because not that many people are interested. But if your interest, like mine, is raising tropical fish keeping is I think the second most popular pet behind dogs and cats in the United States. There are 10 or 12 million aquarium owners. So that's a good topic and a good niche. The fourth thing you need is emails. You need emails to send to your subscriber list, your e-list, and drive traffic to the landing pages, which we'll look at next, for your products. And here's one where we were selling a product called the Copywriter's Toolkit that we also looked at in the first session, which was a collection of forms for my copywriting business. And it says, for a limited time only, I am selling unlimited rights to all of the forms and other documents I use in my copywriting business. And then a few paragraphs down, now at a price of less than $1 a document, I'm practically giving the collection away. For more information or to order on a risk-free 90-day trial basis, click here now, and there's a link to my microsite or my landing page. This was emailed on June 25th of 2009. We were selling it at the time for $49. We got 210 orders, which means for this ebook, this email, sending one email to our list. And by the way, this took me, what, 10, 15 minutes to write? If that, we made over $10,000. So you can see, again, the profit potential of the ebook business. You never know, though, what's going to work in email marketing unless you test. For example, here was the subject line of an email offering a free e-zine, a free e-newsletter on business travel. And they tested three subject lines. One pulled 50% better than the other two. One of them. So number one was business travel got you down. Number two is traveling well is the best revenge. Number three is travel tips for road warriors. Which do you think was the winner? It was number two, traveling well is the best revenge. Is there any logical reason for that? I could make logical arguments for each of them as to why they should have won. So you never know what's going to work in email marketing until you test. And I showed you an email that made $10,000. I've had emails that have made only a few $100s. So you never know what's going to work until you test it. This one was pretty successful. This is what Michael Masterson calls the power of one big idea. That you have in your email marketing message just one idea that you hammer home. This one says there's no product easier to create or sell online than a simple, straightforward, instructional or how-to ebook. Why are ebooks the perfect information product to sell online? And it lists the reason. And this was selling a few years ago. My ebook that you have, how to write and sell ebooks, how to write ebooks for fun and profit. And it sold 392 units at $19, and we made $7,448. Later, we sent it to a mailing list that Michael Masterson owned at the time, Early to Rise. It was a huge list. I think it was over 400,000 names, and we sold almost 1,000 copies and made over $19,000 with one email to his list. A landing page is a page that is used to sell the ebook. And here's the landing page for my Copywriter's Toolkit. Now you notice it says on the left, CR 10.9%. CR is conversion rate. And the way we measure the success of these landing pages is conversion rate, which means for every 100 people who landed there, how many bought the product. So this says for every 100 people who were driven to this page by my email, almost 11 bought the product, the Copywriter's Toolkit. Notice some of the tricks of the trade that I have here. I have credibility right at the top of the page because people are skeptical of internet marketing, and you want to overcome their skepticism with some real good credentials right up front. So it says, Bob Bly, author of 70 books and the man McGraw-Hill calls America's top copywriter, now shares with you, ... Bob Bly's $1 Million Copywriter's Toolkit. I also start with a headline that's the product name, but the subhead tells you exactly what's in it, just says what it is. So the headline's to get attention, but the subhead has to be clear about what you're selling to get you to want to read more and dive into the body copy. I started off this because people had never been offered a toolkit of copywriting forms. I started off by comparing it to something else. I said almost all small businesses use a variety of forms. And they said, oh yeah, that's right. And I then basically said copywriters use forms too, and here are mine. So this was a very successful promotion for us. We looked at the credibility pre-headline on the other one. Here's one called Woman Called Infertile by Her Own Doctor. Now the happy mother of 2 biological children can show you how to discover the techniques thousands of infertile couples have used to get pregnant when doctors said they couldn't. And photos of babies and kids have always been strong in advertising, and you're not going to have many opportunities to use them, but if you can, they attract the eye. And here's one with 2 young kids that I hope you think are cute because they're my kids when they were much younger. Does hype sell? And this is a joke someone put up. Buy my stupid ebook. Make so much money online your friends will leave you, those suckers. And in the second paragraph, he says at the end, you can tell I'm serious because I use lots of exclamation points. And he's got 7 exclamation points. So there are some pages you must see, I'm sure you've all seen them, that you think are overhyped. And I would say, you know, write at the level that you're comfortable with. Don't necessarily follow them, and write at something that's appropriate for the product and the audience that you're selling to. Here's a test. Landing pages have order now buttons on them throughout the landing page. The marketer tested 4 different buttons. A was white on red, B was white on green, and this is all they tested. The rest of the landing page was the same. It looks like black on yellow and navy blue on ochre. And which one of these won, do you think? You could make a logical argument why all of them should have been winners. Whoops. But in fact, it was the D was the winner, the navy blue on ochre. And I could never explain it until one day in one of my seminars, someone told me that she was a web usability expert, and in tests, ochre, navy blue and ochre rates very high. So I don't know why that is, but at least we know the logic behind why that button outperformed. Here's a formula people use to rank the factors that affect conversion rate. C equals 4M plus 3V plus 2 times I minus F minus 2A. So it says the conversion rate is largely a factor of the prospect motivation. The more motivated the prospect is to solve the problem your ebook helps them solve, the more people will purchase it. Value proposition means the better value your product offers, the more inclined it'll be to order it. So you remember that for the Copywriter's Toolkit, I said you're getting this great value. You're getting these thousands of dollars worth of forms for $1 each, so it had a high V. Then the incentive to take action. What reason are you giving me to act now instead of later? And I often do that by offering bonuses. Then we subtract from that a disincentive, friction, which means when people look at your web page, how unclear is it and how difficult is it for them to order, or how confusing. And that takes away from the conversion rate. And also subtracting from the conversion rate is A, anxiety. How nervous are they about making this purchase? Have they bought other ebooks on this topic? Are they worried about being ripped off? And so it's C equals 4M, motivation, plus value proposition, plus incentive, minus friction and anxiety. One way to increase the value proposition is to establish the value, that the value is in excess of the cost before presenting the price. So in this product that I did, which was on how to do your own public relations, I said that I charge $10,000 to work with clients to do public relations. But if you order this product where it has, this is on building your brand, your personal brand. And you know, if you buy this product, it costs you less than $100, which is less than I charge for just 12 minutes of my time. So it builds the value, and that's one thing you want to do when selling any information product online. You want to show that the price you are asking is a drop in the bucket compared to the value received. And my favorite technique for doing that is this, which is basically to say, hey, if you hired a speechwriter to just write one speech for you, it costs $5,000. But with the Speechwriter's Guide, you can write your own speeches all year long for just $39. That kind of logical argument. How can online words make you richer? Let's look at this table. If you increase either the click-through rate is the number of people who get your email who click through to the landing page. The conversion rate is the number of people who land on the landing page who buy the product. So if you have a click-through rate of 1%, if you have a list of 100,000 and you have a click-through rate of 1% and a conversion rate of 1%, you get 10 orders. If the product price is 100, you make $1,000 on that email. Well, that's not bad. How long is it going to take you to write an email? Well, you know, a lot of people, the average income in America, I don't know if you guys know this, is about $44,000 a year. So a lot of people will commute and work all week, 9 to 5, at a job they don't like to make $1,000. You can do it in 15 minutes. But now let's say we can improve our results, because 1% and 1% is pretty low on the scale. More typical would be a click-through rate of 2% and a conversion rate of 3%. If we do that, we get 60 orders, and for that one email we just made in one day, $6,000. If you can do that once a week, you're making $300,000 a year. Now, it is within the realm of possible to get a click-through rate of 5%. It's high, but it can be done. And I showed you a landing page that got over 10% conversion rate. If you have those numbers, you get 500 orders, and if the product price is 100, you would make an incredible, and I've never done this, but you would make an incredible $50,000 per email, and some people have. Make it easy to order. Here's from one of our landing pages. We don't hide the order button. And there's a debate whether you should say click here now or not. I'm a fan of doing it. So what are you waiting for to order? Just click here now. Tell them what to do, and you can't miss that order button which says order now. You simply cannot miss it. So some things to review. Most of us trade time for money. We're like dentists. Unless we're drilling and filling, we're not billing. Passive income is the way to escape the trap of trading time for money. You can make money without actually doing work at the time. You can sell a product or a service online, but a product to me is preferable because you make money without any labor on your part. A service has to be rendered. Having said that, there are a lot of successful internet information marketers that sell ebooks and audio programs and DVDs, but they also sell some kind of coaching or consulting service. So some people like to mix them. We are talking here about selling an ebook information product versus merchandise, and you can sell merchandise, but it's a much more complicated business. You sell merchandise, you've got to buy it at wholesale and then resell it at your full retail price, versus with an ebook, there's no inventory to buy, and there's no inventory to store. I know a guy who is a famous cataloger, and when he started, he just had a few units of his product, and he kept them in his living room because they didn't have room to store them. And with ebooks, you don't have to do that. You have a chance to make significant income within a few months or a couple of years, of $200,000 or more. The startup cost for selling ebooks is very low. All the costs are low. You can host a website for $10 a month. You can have an ebook put together with a cover design for $200 or $300. Those costs are very minimal. It's a spare time business. You can do it in your spare time, an hour, 2 hours a day once it's operating. You have low overhead, again, no inventory, no physical labor, no storage, no fulfillment. Your advantage is that if you're a writer, and a lot of people listening to this are writers or copywriters. Writers are the kings of content. What we're selling is content. So this is a product you can create either on your own or by hiring others. And if you're a copywriter, you can write your own copy and save money on the only really expensive part of web marketing that there is, which is getting copies for the emails and the e-newsletter, and especially the landing pages, which are the most expensive to buy. You could pay a good copywriter thousands of dollars for a landing page. If you can do it yourself, that's money in your pocket, and that's so many ebooks you don't have to sell to cover that cost. Here are a few helpful resources. If you're looking for a shopping cart, which you will need to run your internet business, on the upper right corner, my shopping cart, bobsbestcart.com. We talked about the importance of choosing your own niche. Below that, chooseyourniche.com. My web master in the Philippines, I mentioned, is filipinowebmasters.com. We talked about domain names that you need, like www.bly.com. Go to bobsbestdomains.com. Hosting, there are a number of hosting companies I like, but you can try HostGator. See on the left in the middle, HostGator.com. And so these are just some resources you have, and there are many others for all of these functions. Infusionsoft.com is another popular shopping cart. So is writing and selling ebooks online the best business in the world? My answer would be it's probably not, but it's probably in the top 6.
It's pretty close, I have to say.
It's got to be in the top 5. I don't know. I'm hard pressed to think of too many that are better, and so it's something I love. I've been doing for a few years now, and if you are a writer or you like information, I couldn't recommend it more highly. And so I want to thank you for your attention today. You've been a great group.
Oh, thanks so much, Bob. What a blueprint we have. You know, yesterday was great in the first session, talking about, the different types of ebooks and how to create ebooks from so many different sources, and then today to actually give us this business blueprint to really take the whole ebook idea to such a higher level. I can't thank you enough. This has been fantastic. And I do want to ask you for a preview for Session 3. I know you have a very special guest included.
Well, my guest is Gordon Burgett, who is, for decades, has been a book publishing guru, both physical books and ebooks. And what he's going to talk about, we've been talking about marketing on your own website, PDF ebooks. He's going to talk about the alternative type of ebook, marketing on Amazon.com, Kindle ebooks, how to create them, how to get them on Amazon, how to get Amazon to sell them, and how to make money doing it. And this is especially a good opportunity for those of you listening who are asking, can I do fiction? The kind of ebooks we've been talking today don't lend themselves to fiction, but Kindle ebooks do lend themselves to fiction. So it's a good way for you to get published if you want to be a novelist. And nonfiction topics also work very well on Kindle. So I think you'll find that to be very useful.
It's going to be great. Thanks so much, Bob.
Thanks, Katie.